level than everybody else.
It's like we're at Citi Field right now. He is vibing off the energy like he's in his own home ballpark.
I feel like I'm the best power hitter in the game.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you two things coming out of the Home Run Derby last night. First, they should do it in Denver every year. I don't care where the All-Star game is. They should do the Home Run Derby in Denver every year. And second, Pete Alonso is going to go down as the greatest Home Run Derby slugger of all time. And Jessica Mendoza said it with us on TV this morning absolutely perfectly. He is so well suited for this event, not only because obviously he can slam the heck out of a baseball like almost no one else can, but did you see how he was eating it up last night? He loves it. He loves this competition. He loves the show of it. I love seeing that. I love seeing the joy. One of the things that we have missed and have lost, and sometimes in sports to some degree, is just the pure, unadulterated joy. And I thought it felt to me like Pete Alonso just took so much joy in that event last night. And it was a joyous event. In all the things that we've seen in sports, since sports have come back, I'm not sure I've seen anything where everyone just seemed to be having more fun than they were having last night. And that's all this is supposed to be. At the end of the day, winning the Home Run Derby, look, there's a bunch of money in it for these guys now, but they all make a ton of money. They were out there having fun. No one was having more fun than Pete Alonso. He was spectacular. The Trey Mancini story is obviously a great story, and for him to get into the finals was fabulous. The showdown between Shohei Ohtani and Soto in the first round was worth the price of admission all by itself. All things considered, that was a spectacular night, I thought, for the Home Run Derby in a week that baseball really needed it. Hem, let me bring in my Vice President of Baseball Conversation, Hembo, who has made his return, and we'll make this Straight Talk brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. What do you think of my assertion? When it's all said and done, we will say Pete Alonso is the greatest slugger in the history of the Home Run Derby.
It's going to be hard for me to go there because I, as a kid, remember watching Ken Griffey Jr. do this and win it 3 times, as you see on your screen if you're watching on ESPN+. And for me, for some reason, he was the player I always most look forward to watching hit home runs because of how beautiful his swing is. He did it with a grace and an elegance. Pete Alonso, I mean, his nickname is the polar bear. He does it with brute force. So I suppose it's a style thing, but I think he has a pretty good chance to break Griffey's record.
Well, here's the thing. Now the comparison you're making, and maybe it is an apt one, because what is the Home Run Derby most similar to? I guess the slam dunk contest, right? These are the two most exciting, physically spectacular acts in their respective sports. And so Michael Jordan was sort of the Ken Griffey Jr. of the slam dunk contest. There was a sleekness, his leaping ability, there was a beauty to what he did. But then Vince Carter showed up, and for my money, Vince Carter had the single greatest dunk contest performance of all time. There's something to be said for brute force. Like, let's not underestimate the value of just being so freaking strong that it is watching Pete Alonso hit a baseball is like watching Bryson DeChambeau hit a golf ball.
That's right.
At this point, right? I think he is going because I think he loves it so much. And he's so young. How old is Alonso? He's a baby. Alonso is going to be in this event for a long time. Like, he is going to do this. I believe he's going to do it year after year after year. It is going to become the Pete Alonso Invitational as time goes on. That's what I think.
He's 26 years old. He was a college player, which, so he started.
But still.
Oh, sure. He has a chance to do this many more times because he gets it. He gets it this week. It's all about the fans. He's a perfect example of a player for whom he gives to the fans and the fans give back to him. When he called that timeout yesterday and pumped up the crowd, it was like the best rock concert you've ever been to. That was the vibe in the stadium last night, and it was a sight to behold.
Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. And that really is something to underline because you have the juxtaposition of two things. So you have Alonso pumping up the fans, and I'll very quickly mention something that I posted recently. When Phil Mickelson, I know this is going to sound like a departure, but I will bring them together. When Phil Mickelson won the PGA Championship at the Ocean Course last month, whenever that was, 2 months ago, when you saw that outpouring of emotion, when you saw all those people flooding the golf course to follow him the way they did with Tiger a year before, that was not because the oldest major champion was being crowned. That was because of what I have said forever. If you are a star in sports and you show the fans that you care about them, they will love you forever. So why does that apply to this? Because Pete Alonso demonstrated last night how much fun he wanted it to be for everyone. Because Shohei Ohtani, who is now the greatest show in his sport, when asked, well, why are you doing all of these things this weekend? You're right in the middle of a season in which you are already taking on an unprecedented workload, and here you are taking part in the home run derby. And if you watch it last night, at one point he looked like he was doubled over.
Yeah, he was.
You know, because that's an exhausting thing. And tonight he's going to be the starting pitcher and lead off for the American League. I don't know how long he'll stay in the game, but one way or another, why are you doing all these things? And his response was, because it's what the fans want. Why does that feel important today? Because the real story, unfortunately, of this All-Star game is all the players who aren't there. All the players who just made the decision not to be a part of it this year. And I think Hembo was disappointed in me yesterday because of the take I had on this, which is in this year of COVID, when the players have been through sort of unprecedented weirdness and who knows what's going on in their homes and their family lives, they're trying to play a season. They've got all the different protocols. Obviously, things are a lot better now than they were. But think about where we were at spring training. That's not that long ago. So I'm willing to give them a pass on not showing up this week. Hembo, you seem reluctant to agree.
I'm not willing to give them a pass. When I first started reading the stories over the weekend of all the players opting out, it boiled my blood, and I'm still not over it. I'm still not over it. When did the players decide to stop caring about the fans as much as the fans care about them? You often say, why should I care about the games if you don't yourself, in talking about NBA load management? That's how I feel about this. We take this game we have, Greeny, for granted, but it was built on the backs of giants. I've talked to Cal Ripken before about how he would stay past midnight at Camden Yards after the players' strike and sign autographs until he couldn't sign them anymore. Roberto Clemente, every waking moment of his life, it seemed, was doing whatever he could to build the game of baseball in Latin America. In 1927, Babe Ruth played 207 games, including all the exhibitions and his barnstorming tours, plus a regular season. Baseball is now a $10 billion behemoth, but baseball fundamentally is something of a grassroots success story. And behind every story and behind every fan like me is a catch with your dad in the backyard and learning of your favorite player and seeing that player. For me, that player is Cal Ripken Jr. This is a game, Greeny, that provides players the opportunity for generational wealth. All I'm asking is to pay it forward. I'm not asking Jacob deGrom to stay till midnight and sign autographs or to fly medical supplies to Nicaragua or to go play barnstorming tour from Biloxi to Dubuque or wherever. I'm just asking you to play in the freaking All-Star game that the fans elected you to. They're the only ones that matter, so pay it forward.
I think that I appreciate your passion and your feelings on it. I can't disagree with the word that you were saying. I have said for years, and you have heard me say for years, that the only thing that I think we as fans can demand of the players is that they demonstrate that they recognize how good they have it. Like, I don't begrudge any player in sports any of the money they make. If someone wants to pay it to them, God bless them, whether their play seems to warrant it or not. I begrudge not one penny. I believe every human, I root for every human being alive to make as much money as they possibly can, as much money as anyone is willing to pay them. The only thing I think we reasonably can ask in return is that every once in a while it's obvious you appreciate it. Like every once in a while it's evident to us that the support of the fans, which are the reason you have this spectacular life, that you recognize that. That you don't consider the fans to be unnecessary evil, which sometimes I feel as though we have become. That we don't consider the fans to be something to be dealt with, but something that we actually appreciate. And I get that sometimes that life is a two-way street, and it doesn't work that way. And I get that the modern athlete today is dealing with pressures that we don't understand, that when these young players in England miss penalty kicks, people are defacing their murals and sending them horrible racist messages on social media, and that it must be very difficult in that moment to think how much you appreciate the fans. I get that. But something like this, you are right. I can't disagree with you. I guess I see it both ways. Like I see feeling like, man, this is a long season. I get a chance to have 4 days off here. I want to take it. and be with my family. But no one can say you're wrong in what you just said. No one who cares about sports can possibly say what you said is wrong. I want to break on that thought. This is Greeny with you, presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your car, home, motorcycle, commercial auto, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. I thought that was really well said. I want to get Buster in here. He'll jump in on this topic. I want to hear what Nuno and Bubba have to say about it as well. So we'll do all of that with Buster. And then we will ask a little later one more fundamental question. Why can't we be more like England? We got that and more as we roll on. This is Greeny on